Take a deep breath. Go ahead, I'll wait. That breath you just took, it just gave away your identity. Not in some metaphorical way. Scientists have discovered that the way you breathe is so unique, they can identify you with nearly 97% accuracy. And that's not even the scary part. Imagine walking into a room where invisible sensors are quietly analyzing every breath you take. No facial recognition cameras, no fingerprint scanners, just the natural rhythm of your breathing telling the world exactly who you are. This isn't science fiction anymore. A team of researchers from the Weizmann Institute of Science in Israel just proved that your breathing pattern is as distinctive as your fingerprint. And they did it with a simple device that sits under your nose. Here's what went down. The scientists recruited about 100 volunteers and fitted them with this lightweight wearable device, basically two soft tubes that sit under your nostrils and track how air flows in and out of each nostril separately. Then they told everyone to just go about their normal day, working, exercising, eating, sleeping. The device recorded it all for 24 hours straight. Now, most breathing tests you might have done at the doctor's office last maybe 20 minutes tops. They're checking if your lungs work properly. But these researchers weren't interested in lung function. They wanted to capture something much more subtle, the unique rhythm and pattern of how each person breathes throughout an entire day. The results blew everyone away. Using machine learning to analyze the data, they could pick out individual people from their breathing patterns alone with 96.8% accuracy. That's about as good as some voice recognition systems. Even when they brought people back weeks, months, or even 2 years later, their breathing signatures remained remarkably consistent. Think about that for a second. Your voice can change when you're sick or emotional. Your fingerprints can be altered or damaged, but your breathing pattern? That's controlled by such a complex network in your brain that it creates a signature so stable it barely changes over years. Timna Soroka, the lead researcher, admitted she was shocked by how well it worked. She thought people doing different activities throughout the day would make identification impossible. Someone running should breathe differently than someone studying, right? But it turns out that beneath all those surface changes, there's a core pattern that's uniquely yours. The way this works is fascinating. The researchers extracted 24 different features from the breathing data. Things like how long you inhale, how long you exhale, the pause between breaths, and even the asymmetry between your nostrils. Yeah, you don't breathe equally through both nostrils, and that imbalance is part of your signature, too. But here's where it gets really interesting, and maybe a little unsettling. Your breathing pattern doesn't just identify who you are, it reveals what's going on inside you. The researchers found they could predict people's body mass index from their breathing patterns. They could tell when someone was anxious or depressed. People with higher anxiety scores, for instance, had shorter inhales and more irregular pauses between breaths while sleeping. None of these participants had any diagnosed mental health conditions. They were all healthy young adults, yet their breathing patterns still revealed these subtle differences in their emotional states. As neuroscientist Noam Sobel put it, in a way, we're reading the mind through the nose. This connection between breathing and the brain isn't random. Breathing is one of the few bodily functions that's both automatic and under conscious control. It's regulated by an incredibly complex brain network that has to coordinate with practically everything else your body does. When you're stressed, your breathing changes. When you're focused, it changes again. Every thought, every emotion leaves its mark on your breath. The implications here are massive. On the positive side, this could revolutionize medical monitoring. Imagine a world where your doctor can track your mental and physical health just by monitoring your breathing patterns over time. No invasive tests, no expensive scans, just a simple device tracking your breath. It could catch diseases early, monitor recovery from illness, or alert caregivers when something's wrong. For authentication, breathing could become the ultimate biometric. Unlike passwords that can be stolen or fingerprints that can be faked, your breathing pattern is incredibly hard to replicate. The researchers are already working on more discrete devices. Future versions might be built into your phone or computer, silently verifying your identity with every breath. But let's talk about the elephant in the room, the privacy nightmare this could become. Right now, you can choose whether to give up your fingerprints or face for biometric scanning, but breathing? That's not optional. You literally cannot stop doing it. Picture this scenario. You walk into a store and hidden sensors identify you before you've taken 3 steps. No cameras needed. Or imagine authoritarian governments installing breathing sensors in public spaces, tracking citizens' movements and emotional states in real time. Protesters could be identified not by their faces, but by their breath. Your anxiety at a border crossing could flag you for additional screening. The technology isn't quite there yet for that level of surveillance, but it's not far off either. The current device needs to be worn close to the nose, but researchers are already working on systems that could work from a distance, and unlike facial recognition, could reveal information you don't even know about yourself. The study found correlations between breathing patterns and traits that participants weren't even aware of. Your breath might reveal health conditions before you have symptoms, or emotional states you're not consciously experiencing. There's also the question of whether this data could be used against you. Could insurance companies use breathing patterns to assess health risks? Could employers screen job candidates based on their respiratory signatures? Could law enforcement use breath analysis to profile individuals? On the flip side, the researchers are exploring whether we can hack our own breathing patterns to improve our mental health. If certain breathing patterns correlate with anxiety or depression, could we train ourselves to breathe differently and actually change our emotional state? This isn't just about meditation or breathing exercises anymore. It's about fundamentally rewiring how our brains regulate our breath. The team is cautiously optimistic about developing therapeutic applications. They're investigating whether people can learn to mimic the breathing patterns of mentally healthy individuals to improve their own well-being. It's like physical therapy for your respiratory system, targeting mental health instead of physical recovery. This discovery also sheds new light on why breathing exercises have been used for thousands of years in meditation and stress management. It's not just about getting more oxygen. It's about the intimate connection between your breathing patterns and your brain state. Every inhale drives specific waves in your memory center. The transition from exhale to inhale might act as a kind of reset button for your neural circuits. So where does this leave us? We're standing at the edge of a new era where the most basic human function, breathing, becomes a window into our identity, our health, and our innermost states. The same technology that could help doctors save lives could also create an unprecedented surveillance tool. The researchers themselves seem aware of these implications. They're pushing forward with the medical applications while the world grapples with the privacy concerns. It's the same dance we've done with every new technology, racing to harness the benefits while trying to prevent the abuses. But this time feels different. You can leave your phone at home, you can cover your face, you can wear gloves to hide your fingerprints, but you can't stop breathing. In a world where your every breath could identify you, anonymity might become as outdated as payphones and handwritten letters. What do you think? Is the medical potential worth the privacy risks? The next time you take a deep breath to calm yourself down, remember that breath is uniquely yours. It's a signature written in air, a pattern encoded in your brain, a marker as individual as your DNA. And very soon, the world might be listening to every single one. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video.